Do you understand?
Yes.
I wish I had a ham sandwich to calm my nerves.
Get a hold of yourself, Dag!
How come I suddenly know which boy bands rock out loud?
Hi, I'm Rob,
Hey, it's Brian.
and with our powers combined, we are the Nostalgic Dad Podcast.
Yay, old guys together talking about cartoons. It's supposed to
That's
be
right.
episode 2 of March of Cartoons That We Hate. But this one, we changed our minds on.
Hey, this is episode 6 overall, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. We've come so far.
I know, we've only had a handful of technical difficulties.
Well, you just jinxed us now. Ha
Yeah, well, you know, I'm Canadian. I always have high hopes.
ha. Positivity is just a must.
Always.
Okay.
Today, though, we are talking MTV's Spider-Man cartoon. Yes, you heard that right. MTV's Spider-Man cartoon, which ran for one season in 2003, I think it was, for 13 episodes.
I believe so. I always thought it was just MTV Spider-Man. I didn't know it was actually Spider-Man, the new animated series.
Yeah. We'll just call it MTV. Makes it stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know there's they have Spider-Man just the animated series, and I get confused between those two.
Yeah, and then Spectacular Spider-Man, and there's been a lot of Spider-Man cartoons.
Oh yeah, big time.
I think one of the more underrated ones next to this one would be 2099 on Fox Kids.
That one I never watched.
It was different.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I wonder if it's on Disney Plus. There's a lot of old Marvel shows on Disney Plus now.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out too. It's been a while since I used that.
Yeah.
I should see I'm paying for it, but too much crap to watch.
That's the worst thing. Too much stuff to watch, too many games to play, and yeah, there's not enough time in the day.
So, one fact that before we even start this out that I thought was interesting, because we mentioned it beforehand too, never realized Neil Patrick Harris was Peter Parker.
Me neither. I didn't realize until after I watched all the episodes, and then I looked it up on Wikipedia, and then hearing it back, I'm like, oh my god, that's totally him.
So weird. Another actor that's in here, we didn't watch the episode, but when the lizard's in, it's actually voiced by Rob Zombie.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's because it's an MTV connection or not, but that's kind of cool.
I also saw it was an episode we didn't watch. Michael Clark Duncan reprises his role as Kingpin.
Yeah, I saw that too when looking up the cast.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
This show actually had like some good backing, good production. Stan Lee is behind it. The guys who produced the movies are behind it.
Yeah, it has a good backing behind it. I don't know, maybe it came at the wrong time period because it's not really for kids, but it's not really for adults, and it's got a little bit of mixture of both in it.
Yes, I did not know back in the day, but this animated series is actually a continuation. Like, it branches off of the very first Spider-Man movie, like with Tobey Maguire.
Weird to think of.
Yeah, it is weird,
but it makes sense. I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
They make references.
Cartoon tie-in. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially considering there's like 2 more movies after the fact, so that's weird.
Yeah. For the breakdown of these episodes, it's pretty much your typical superhero breakdown. Spider-Man's got to save the day. That's really it. Episode 1 starts with a school protest where they're trying to demolish kind of like the ghetto area to build up a new university location or something like that along those lines.
Yeah, like apartments going to be replaced with like they're extending like the campus or something.
Yeah, a new dorm section or whatnot.
Yeah.
Some pointers for this one. Something that's always caught my eye with this cartoon is, I think, something I didn't like. Why does Spider-Man's costume has that weird shine to it? It's got like the white lighting to make it look like it has a shine.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going for there. I know you're talking about, and because I don't remember that in the movie.
Like, no, I don't either. It's made of just your basic fabric.
Maybe it was just like, I don't know, a result of this show's computer animation. It's just how it turned out.
Yeah. So with the products getting destroyed or the apartment building there, we run into this janitor or maintenance guy who's been sweeping around, who turns out to be Turbojet.
Yeah.
So he's the one that's been trying to steal all these items to raise money so the apartments won't get taken down. One thing that's at the end of the episode that I thought was really funny, I think it's part of the adult humor. When he finds out the telescope is fake, he throws in the audience or into the crowd and decks a lady in the face with it.
That was unintentionally hilarious because I was like, oh God, but at the same time, I know it was meant to show that like, oh, you think you're being a hero, but you're also being like super aggressive. But it was pretty hilarious. It catches you off guard. I didn't expect that, and they literally show her she just gets clocked.
Because they put that kind of adult humor in a bunch of the episodes that we watch. I noticed there's a couple other ones that we'll probably touch on.
Yeah.
The one thing that did throw me off on the first episode is Norman's already dead. We don't see anything about Uncle Ben, nothing. Because then watching it, I didn't know that it originally took place after the first movie, so that makes sense why that stuff's not there.
Yeah.
But for someone who's watching the first episode, there's nothing to really tie it together. So I thought that was kind of a little off-putting in a way.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because same with you, I didn't know until, and even when I heard Harry mentions, him blaming Spider-Man for killing his dad, I was still like thinking, is this from the movie? It doesn't seem like it, but yeah, I get a little confused.
One thing I did like was the mannequin factory fight scene. It was kind of funny. Especially when Peter shoots his web on Turbojet's helmet to pull it back, and it's just a mannequin underneath, and he's just like, oh, not again.
Yeah. Is that a reference to some?
I don't know. Just maybe he pulls the helmet off a bunch of mannequins.
I guess so. Maybe that's some. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch Spider-Man 1 because maybe that's a reference. Maybe there's a mannequin thing in Spider-Man 1. I don't know.
It could be. It's been so long since I watched that movie.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I love how this janitor has this super advanced superhero suit.
Yeah, how he's that smart. And then at one point when he's testing out his new add-on to it, he's just shooting a mattress that's up against the wall.
Yeah, it's not explained. Like, they don't really say like, oh, this guy's a genius or anything. Or where he get this suit. He just built it, I guess, in his apartment.
It's been a while since I read any of the comic books, and definitely from that time period. I don't think I was reading them too often. But a bunch of these characters, I don't know if they're made up just for this cartoon or if they're actually in the comic book series somewhere along the lines. I know.
Yeah, Sable and Craven.
Yeah, those are the only ones because I know Shocker and Kingpin's in it, but the Turbojet and was it the Pterodactyls?
Yeah, Pterodactyls.
Never heard of before.
Or the Mind Twins or whatever their names are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any of those.
If they just make characters up for the show, or if they're like very B or C level characters in the books that are only there for like a minute.
I don't know why they would have to make up characters considering how many like villains Spider-Man has.
Yeah, got a lot of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I did find enjoyable about the cartoon at the nighttime sequence, it reminds me a lot of the Spawn cartoon. I'm not sure if you watched that one ever, but it's very dark and gritty.
Like the cartoon movie or because I watched
it had an HBO TV series.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's Spawn and strippers and lots of drugs.
Oh, nice.
Lots of blood.
Adult.
Oh yeah, very adult. Very adult.
Yeah, they're known for this.
No, I think that's really it.
So Peter and MJ kind of have this will they, won't they thing going on. They're like obviously into each other, but then they're not like dating. So it's kind of like just be together. But that doesn't happen until Spider-Man 2. My notes are funny in here. So essentially Turbojet's goal in here, because it is people are protesting the whole demolition of the apartments. So Turbojet's thing is he's using this suit to steal like valuable items in order to sell them to get money to back up or to pay for like not having to not have the apartments be demolished. One thing I took notice is just from the first episode is during the daytime, the show's very colorful.
Yeah, it is. Very much.
Like, yeah, everything's very bright. All the colors are very are popping, and I was like, there was like a daytime chase scene, and I was just looking at everything like, oh, this is really colorful. People are dicks to Spider-Man. Everyone still thinks, or like a lot of people think he's a menace. He was literally asking some citizens, where did Turbojet go? And they're like, blah, 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 rada, 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 I don't care, start throwing stuff at him. And I'm like, wow, he was literally asking where the bad guy went. The intro is pretty entertaining. It shows a lot of action and, you know, gets you excited for what you're about to watch. The music in this is kind of this weird, I don't know, kind of old school, like what a 90s DJ thinks he should play at a rave. And there's this weird like synth going on, and
which is weird because if it goes to Spider-Man 1, it's definitely no Dashboard Confessional, that's for sure.
No, not
they
at
did
all.
Like the main soundtrack for the first movie.
Yeah, everyone loves Vindicated. Getting emo on it. Spider-Man makes a Batman reference. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't think I caught that one.
Yeah, there's a part where he puts his hands to make it look like pointy bat ears.
Yeah.
And then he does in a gravelly voice, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, to try and change up his personality so people would like him.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
flew right over my head.
The suit so the bad guy's suit has like weird random powers. He has super speed, and then also some weird kind of like anti-gravity, like a gravity gun in his arm. He could like pull people away or knock them forward. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then one thing that will consistently happen in this show, and happens, of course, in the first episode, is MJ gets kidnapped. You know, she gets captured by the Turbojet. I really forgot how Spider-Man actually ends up stopping this bad guy. I remember...
It was at the Telescope final conference where he steals Mary Jane, and then Spider-Man's shooting all his webs on different spots on the sidewalks and the street, like telephone poles and all that, and then Mary Jane elbows Turbojet in the face, which breaks his visor.
Oh, yeah,
sending him back, and then it's like a ping pong kind of thing, and then Spider-Man just punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too dramatic.
Yeah. And then it ends with, obviously, the bad guy's been stopped, but then the side plot of the whole demolition thing, it's actually Oscorp that's been wanting to demolish the apartments, but then at the end, Harry decides to save the apartments, and, you know, ta-da, hooray. And that's all I got for episode 1.
Yeah, that sounds about it.
I liked it. I feel like they should have gotten, like, a better villain, maybe a more notable villain for the first episode, just to be like, here you go, get ready, more villains coming, or more recognizable villains.
Or even more recognizable characters. You know, you got your main 3, but there's no JJ, there's no Flash, no Kingpin.
No. Wait, JJ's not in this first episode?
No, we see him in episode 6.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Which is called Tight Squeeze, where we get introduced to Pterodactyl's group. They're Russian former, KGB agents who are diamond thieves.
Yeah, for a while I was wondering, like, what are they after? Because it wasn't, like, their objective wasn't clear to me until, like, the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're called pterodactyls because they fly, and so they're named after pterodactyls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I even tried Googling them a little bit, and I couldn't find anything about them. So I'm assuming they're just a made-up character for the episode. What points do you have about this episode?
Okay, so one thing, jumping back to the first episode, I forgot to mention that Peter and MJ do actually kiss at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
And so by episode 6, I believe they're actually together. But this episode actually begins kind of... Well, okay, so we first see the pterodactyls, and they're breaking into some building, and they're trying to get into a safe. And Spider-Man, of course, stops them. But then I have a note of a weird thing that, after that, it's MJ, Peter, and Harry, and they're all watching this couple like make out,
Mhm.
and they're
Yeah, I wrote
looking
that
at
down too.
binoculars.
Yeah, being peeping toms out in the middle of public in the park.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever works, I guess.
Yeah. And then, like you said, we're introduced to Jameson, who, in my opinion, seems a little reserved than like J.K. Simmons in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I did notice is in Jameson's office, there is a framed
Poster?
it's like a newspaper.
Yeah.
Did you see what it said?
Is it the Zombies Attack Manhattan?
Yeah.
On those lines?
And I was like, is that a reference to like
Yeah.
Marvel Zombies?
That's what I thought too. I got it wrote down as well.
I'm trying to remember what the plot for this was. I know it's all dealing with the pterodactyls. They're trying to
It's
steal
mainly
diamonds.
the introduction of was it Indy?
Yeah,
The
Indy,
new
the
the
other woman.
third love triangle.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what this episode's based off of. Is just adding in this extra character for Peter's love life.
Yeah, Peter's a little bit of a flirty
Pimp.
whore.
Yeah. Or pimp. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tomato.
because he's already got MJ, and then he's like talking to his other girl.
Yeah. And to the one point where he saves her in the newsroom, and he makes her just to date the show a thank you CD.
Oh yeah, back in the day, you're making someone a mixtape or whatever, like that means something.
Yeah. Which is also weird because the other news company that she works for is called Empire, I think. Empire News. And it's
Empire One.
Empire One, and it's literally right across from the Daily Bugle. Because when JJ's in his office, you can see the logo for Empire in the background.
Yeah, they're like right next to each other.
Which I don't recall in any other cartoons or books or anything.
No, me neither. I'm assuming they just made it up for this show.
Yeah. Another comedy piece in this one. Pterodactyls throw the conference room table out the wall, and you just hear a lady screaming afterwards. Did you catch up on that?
Yeah.
Spider-Man doesn't make any attempt to stop the table from going outside. He just
Nope.
ducks it, and then he looks outside and hears a lady screaming. And then later on, when Peter's with JJ, he's like, "Wow, what's the chances of a conference table hitting the ground and not hitting anyone?"
Yeah, I thought that was weird that he didn't even try to like stop that.
He's done it in a couple episodes that we watched. He does it
Yeah.
in episode 12 or 13. Yeah, I think it's 12.
This is a less attentive Spider-Man.
Yeah, very much so. But yeah, and then it's just a love triangle. He gets taken hostage in Empire 1 when the pterodactyls take it over to try and get their news story out to lure Spider-Man in to blow up the building. Then Spidey has to do a little Easter egg hunt for some bombs, and yeah, that's how he saves the day. And MJ's all pissed off him because they had a movie date, and then she realizes he's in the Empire 1 building as a hostage. So she gets all worried to go see him when he gets rescued, and then that's when Indy comes up and gives him a kiss, and she sees it, and she gets all pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this is all Peter's fault, this whole situation, because this whole time he's hanging out with this girl, he kind of has this slightly flirtatious tone, and I don't know if he knows that he's doing it, and also this whole time he never mentions like, oh yeah, I have this girl, Mary Jane, or anything like that. So obviously this woman's gonna be like, I'm into this man.
Which is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. I never watched too much of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm not sure when it started, but it's Neil Patrick Harris' character on that to a T. A little bit more timid though.
Yeah,
but he's always going for the
Barney
girls. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that show too.
I know Chantel's got the whole series, and I watched seasons of it, but not the whole thing. But to think about it, it's kind of yeah, I've heard it end. And that's all I got for that episode.
Yeah, me too. That brings us to episode 12 and 13. I mean, did you want to do it all as one or like?
Yeah, let's do it all at one. It all goes together as part 1 and 2. So.
Yeah, it's Mind Games part 1 and 2. Do you want me to try to summarize this?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. So, to my knowledge of what I'm remembering, I need to really start writing down these like plot synopses because I'm just writing random notes.
I'm surprised you got a notebook.
I know I got a whole thing. I get all my
I just got loose paper.
yeah, all my pages, and I used to draw on here, but now I just put podcast notes. So we got some weird psychic twins, and they are in a kind of like a prisoner transport, and their powers are being subdued because they have some sort of injection, and then a third party, because they're in a truck being transported, a third party crashes into the truck to release them, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man comes, and it's actually at this point we get to see some of their powers. So they take control. They're able to take over people's minds, and so they take control of one of the security guards that was watching them, and they make him straight up shoot his partner. Which is, I mean, it's done off screen, but still, I was like, dang, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they try to take control of Spider-Man, but he's able, quotations, to fight it off, but not really. MJ is going on a date and messing around with Spider-Man. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun. Spider-Man catches the twins, and the police take them away. Apparently, quotations.
Mm-hmm.
Peter is also still messing around with Indy, so he's got these two girls on the hook. What a player! I never would have thought Peter Parker being a
Well, it's funny because it's Peter with Indy, and then it's Spider-Man with Mary Jane.
Yeah, so maybe that's how he justifies it. I'm like, oh, it's two different people. I'm not the same. Apparently the twins break out the pterodactyls, and then Spider-Man stops them. God, my notes are terrible. Let me try to summarize this simply. Spider-Man has good things going on, but then he's also noticing that it's weirdly good things that are happening, such as like J. Jonah Jameson being nicer to him and stuff like that. Or there's one scene, I think, is it implying that like Indy and MJ are like hanging out together or something? Or...
Oh, when he knocks on the door and they're both in there together?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like it's going to be set up for a threesome.
Yeah, it totally looks like that. But in the end, Spider-Man reveals his identity. MJ, Kraven the Hunter is there, and he actually kills MJ, and some mysterious man at her grave convinces Peter Parker, like, you need to get revenge, who I think is voiced by Stan Lee. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so Spider-Man's like, yes, I'm totally going to get revenge. I'm totally going to kill Kraven. Dun, 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 reveal it's actually, that was all a dream. MJ's not dead. The twins did, in fact, mess with Spider-Man's head, and they took control of him because they themselves want to get revenge on Kraven using Spider-Man. And the twins actually have MJ. She is not dead. And then take us to the part 2, and Spider-Man is straight up bloodlust. He is after Kraven, and so he takes out his men, and he is literally about to hang Kraven, like straight up going to hang him using his spider web. And before realizing that, like he realizes that he's been messed with. Luckily, before he kills Kraven, makes a big mistake. And so, with the help of Indy, asks the help to find a warehouse he slightly remembers from being, mind controlled, and she helps him find the warehouse. He goes to stop the twins and save MJ, and crazy fight, psychic fight, and then Peter. We get the end, the end of the series. I was trying to summarize it well without like giving away all my notes, because I know we're just gonna go over our notes.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm trying to think here.
Yeah,
it's funny. It was episode 12, another adult humor. The male prison guards commenting on how nice the psychic twins bodyist, like the girl version.
Yeah,
One's a girl, and one's a boy.
that was a weird like toss out there. Like why? What a weird comment.
Yeah, and she's wearing one of those like prison jumpsuits where the zipper's just done down enough that the boobs are kind of hanging out. It's like,
Yeah, why?
Are you an adult cartoon or are you a kids cartoon?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be adult.
Yeah, you find out at the end of the episode that it's all a dream sequence, that the twins actually did knock out Spider-Man and take control of his mind, because at one point it looks like Spider-Man and Mary Jane are together because they're up on top of a mount or on top of a building, not a mountain. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Discussing, and Peter's like, "Well, I gotta go. Can you wait for me and we'll talk about it later?" And she's like, "Well, I'd rather be on, not up here." So he actually pushes her off the roof, and then he, jumps down to save her last minute, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, she's just screaming the whole way until she's like 10 feet from the sidewalk, and then he's like, "No, I got you."
And then she's like, "Oh, Spider-Man, that was so hot. Thank you for almost killing me."
Yeah. One thing I thought was interesting, something to do with Peter and the two girls, and Harry's like, "Well, are you waiting for Peter or something?" And Peter's like, "Well, don't you think I have enough on my plate as it is?" Which made me wonder if Harry knows that Peter was Spider-Man, but you can tell by the end of the episode maybe he doesn't, because he says, again, "This is why I hate Spider-Man," so he wouldn't be saying that to Peter if he knew.
Yeah, no, because it's still, I think it's not until Spider-Man. Well, obviously they don't know at this point if there's going to be a Spider-Man 2 movie.
Yeah.
Because in there he finds out who Spider-Man is, but in this show, which could obviously be retconned, I'm pretty sure he didn't know.
Yeah. Another thing with Spider-Man not being that great of a hero, when he's fighting the pterodactyls on top of another building again, the giant sign falls off and falls down the sidewalk, which almost kills Harry. He just lands in between it. But no effort to stop that sign, nothing at all.
Nope.
He just looks over the building and just watches it fall down and sees he's okay, and he's like, "Okay, cool."
God. He's like, "Well, that sucked. Oh, well."
And actually, I got it wrote on episode 12 is when we see the zombie invade Manhattan poster.
Okay.
We probably see it in that episode too, but didn't realize it until then.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it's Craven and Sable trying to hunt down Peter, which doesn't work out. And then we think Craven kills Mary Jane by stabbing her in the neck with green liquid, which is probably the same liquid that is tranquilizing the twins in the armored vehicle.
Yeah.
Then we go through the grave sequence with them, and Peter's all pissed off, and then the Stan Lee character comes in, which caught me off guard because I'd never seen him play a character where he's saying, "Go get revenge, go kill him." That was definitely different.
Yep.
And yeah, that's my notes for the episode 12. Do you have anything else you want to touch on for that episode?
So I put down weirdly good things happening to Peter Parker, and the one that you kind of like. There's slight small hints of like, is he dreaming? Is he being controlled? One thing being Jameson, because when he's trying to sell him pictures, Jameson's like, "These pictures are great. They're amazing. I'll give you double your rate." When normally he would barely pay him, and he thought it was weird, and he was like, "You know what? I'll have my normal rate." We learn, I believe, the twins want revenge on Craven because he apparently like killed their parents.
Yeah, he has something to do with them being mutants too, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, he was hunting them down because they were mutants. I'm not too sure.
I think so. This being the season, or I was gonna say season finale, series finale also. But we get the pterodactyls, and they're back, but they're kind of just like these throwaway villains, and no one really cares. I don't really have much else for episode 12. That's it.
So yeah, now we're into episode 13, which is part 2 of that. A note that I have, MJ tries to escape the evil twins there, and she walks into a random room in the factory that she's kidnapped in.
Yeah.
And the room's dark, and there's only 2 spots that are lit up. And I'm pretty sure that's a lizard coming at her.
I think so, because it's sometime during the season, right? There's a lizard episode. We just didn't see it.
Yeah, because the doc there, like in the normal Spider-Man, it's always him and the white office or medical jacket, and he's part lizard. But no, in this one, he's full on looking like a walking lizard.
Okay. Dr.
So
Connors, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's what that was. If not, it's some kind of dinosaur lizard that was in a random room. But it's all just
Yeah,
a dream sequence, anyways, because she's partly in mind control as well.
Yeah, I think they're just like
Um,
pulling that out of her head, her
yeah.
memory.
So I'm not sure. Maybe she was in the Dr. Connor episode too. Good possibility.
Maybe.
So, but yeah, as you talked about it quickly, when Spider-Man does track down Kraven, and he takes out Kraven's 2 guards, he literally takes a spider web and makes a noose around Kraven's throat and starts to hang him.
So brutal.
The only thing that makes him kind of snap out of that is because Kraven makes a comment about not seeing, like, the last time they fought, Peter said it was like 6 hours ago, and Kraven said he hasn't seen him since he locked him up in, I forget what they called it.
In the gulag.
Yeah, the gulag.
Yeah.
That's when he then realizes things aren't right, and he goes to talk to Harry, because he's wondering where MJ was, and she said she had plans, so he's trying to track back to things. So then he goes and talks to Indy to figure out the factory, which we find out later the guy that was in the dream sequence talking to Peter about killing Kraven is actually the guy who owns the factory
Yeah.
property, which I guess he also owns the majority of New York, by the sounds of it, I think they comment.
I think so, yeah.
One thing that caught my eyes is when Peter's running, he just literally transforms into the suit. He doesn't have to change. So I don't know if that's just them cutting to it quickly, or if the suit can just magically take over his body or not.
I think it was a quick cut. I mean, unless there's like some episode that we missed that explains his new suit transition, I think it was just a quick cut.
Yeah. Also, something I found funny, because Spider-Man's on the phone with the evil twins. Where the hell does he keep a cell phone? And it's also a flip phone, I think, just to date the show back to 2003.
I know, right? Well, it's Spider-Man. He's strong. He probably clenches real hard.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, just holding it in his little butt pocket.
To kill time, he's making jokes with them, like, well, you guys are the villains. How do you want me to kill Kraven? Like, what do you want me to do? And the sister there gets really pissed off and says, just rip off his head and bring it to me.
Yep. They really want him dead.
Yep. Then there's a fight sequence where Peters thinks he's choking out the female twin, and she falls off the roof, which actually, come to find out, it's actually Indy, and that the female twin was behind the brother the whole time, and they're controlling Peter's mind to think Indy was the girl.
Yeah. That was pretty, like, whoa.
And then at one point, Spider-Man injects the brother with the green needle to put the brother to sleep. And then, because they're closing down the factory, for whatever reason, one's on one side, one's on the other side when they're closing the factory bay doors. So Peter gets the brother off by his own, takes him out, and then the sister drives through the door with a big truck, and almost, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but she almost runs over the brother because that's how close the truck comes to it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then
Like
that fight ends
truck,
with
right?
the whole factory blowing up, and then we see a tribute to the classic comic book cover where Peter's picking up the suit and tossing it into the river because Indy's paralyzed in a coma and might never come out of it, and he's tired of all his friends being hurt by Spider-Man.
Yep.
And that's the end of that.
So when I forget what in context it was mentioned, there's like a news article or I think Empire One's doing something on, but they mentioned Stark Industries in some context. I had to rewind it and I was like, yeah, they said Stark Industries. So Peter asks Indy for help finding the warehouse where MJ's being kept. She finds it and then also follows him to it, which, like you said, gets her into trouble because he accidentally throws her off the roof. I was surprised at that point because I honestly thought, like, oh man, she's dead. Like, it's Spider-Man. But no, she was in a coma. So by the end of this, everyone thinks like there isn't a resolution here at the end. Yes, the twins are defeated, but Spider-Man looks worse than before. People already didn't like him, and then now the public saw him throw this innocent woman off a roof, and she's in a coma, like trying to kill her.
Yeah,
Uh,
he seems more defeated than they are.
yeah, so I'd have to look up the date of Spider-Man 2, but if I had to guess, Spider-Man 2 was not in production. Um,
No, probably not.
at all because it seemed like the way this cut off, they did want to have a season 2, and they were going to explain how Spider-Man comes back from quitting being Spider-Man. He straight up tossed his suit. It was a suitcase with his suit and bricks into the ocean, and so obviously, you know, no, I mean, no American show aims to only have one season. They obviously,
No.
yeah, they're gonna try to bring it back, but I know due to poor ratings, show got canceled, and then we got the amazing, I still love it to this day, Spider-Man 2, followed by the Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking if they had a second season, it would be the start with the symbiote.
Yeah, it'd probably definitely get into that, and get more villains like Octopus
Well,
or Sinister Six in general.
I'd be interested to see what kind of ways they would, because there are dark moments. I'd be interested to see what they did with Venom and Carnage.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I think because it's an animated show, Sony, they hold the Spider-Man movie rights, but I feel like because it's an animated show, they could have extended more of the Marvel universe, perhaps, without like
Yeah.
stepping on any toes, and had like other heroes and villains from outside of Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll never know. Cartoons are weird that way, definitely with the Marvel and now with it owned by Disney and whatnot. Because all the
Yeah,
new Spider-Man shows have tons of characters just pulled from every section. So
yeah. To my knowledge, currently, Sony still owns the film rights to Spider-Man, but Marvel
yeah,
still owns the like any kind of like cartoon show of Spider-Man. They own it.
yeah,
Such a mess.
yeah. It's a little confusing, but
Yeah.
maybe one
Uh,
day they'll get it figured out.
maybe they'll strike another deal, or maybe. I mean, at this point, I'd imagine Marvel teamed up, is with Disney, and therefore they're rich enough to buy back the property. But who knows if Sony will let up? But yeah, I like this show. I if if I had found out that yes, they're gonna do another season, I would have checked it out.
Yeah, same here. It's more enjoyable than what I thought it was going to be, or from what I remember. It really makes me want to go through some of the other cartoons and kind of roughly put them in order from good to bad. Because if this is probably not the worst one, I'm wondering what might be. It's a good possibility it could be the worst one, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'm so a loop with the cartoons as of late. So
yeah, definitely. Um, I don't. I just remember when watching this when it came out, and I was younger, and I don't remember like the computer animation being good, but it's
no,
actually it's not bad at all. I thought the acting's good. The character models is smooth and the world's colorful, and for the time, for it being just a show, I thought it was pretty decent.
yeah, it's really enjoyable, decent. The only thing I think they would need to do is figure out that even line if if you're more adult cartoon or more kid cartoon, because some things are hit and miss depending on your age.
Yeah, it's like MTV, so they probably weren't sure what they were doing.
No, they probably didn't care either.
Yeah, exactly. That is Spider-Man the new animated series.
Yeah. So it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be from what we remember.
No,
But
no.
it's always interesting to go back to shows that we didn't like to see how they hold up. Some
Yeah,
are going to be bad and some are going to be better.
yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do next. I think it's gonna be your choice since I chose this one, and hopefully you can pick a good one. Since I mean, last time you came up with Angela Anaconda, and so you picked a real good one.
We'll see I'll see what I can find. I'm sure there's something out there. I
Yeah.
just don't know what yet.
All right, plug time, plug time. You got anything to plug?
Nothing really as of late. Just follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Typhonstein, and when you're on Facebook, go to the Illustrated Mind of Brian Tyfair, and you'll find my Linktree site and whatnot all for that as well, to follow me on Instagram and whatnot.
Nice.
And yeah, hopefully be getting some movie reviews back out again and some more artwork. It's been, the last couple of weeks have been a little bit of a drag for me, so we'll try and get back on schedule.
Guys, follow this guy on Twitter. He's blowing up. He's exploding. He's gonna be the next internet sensation.
Maybe one day.
One day soon. I'll give it 3 days, but that might be a little too long.
10 years from now.
So obviously follow us on Twitter. That seems to be our main hub of interaction and sharing. Not a lot of people, I mean, you can find us on Instagram, but not a lot of people really. I feel Twitter is a better means of interaction. So yeah, Nostalgic Dad on Twitter. We also have our YouTube where we're making we got some videos, and we do little special videos taken from these podcasts, and then we're also doing some Let's Plays, playing some retro games, because we try to be nostalgic. And yeah, let us know on Twitter what shows we should cover, what games we should play.
Yeah, because I'm curious to see what cartoons people think really suck, or that they really love that we should review.
Oh yeah, especially the suck. Let us know what you hate. I'd like to know.
And if it's Angela and Jaconda, we've already covered it. We're not doing it ever again.
No, we get that one person who's like, I love that show. How dare you?
No. That's a delete. That's a block.
Some drunk guy. Yeah, profile block.
All right, I think that's it.
Yep. Thank you guys for joining us for episode 6.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.